top
You're
right.
on the same spot.
Hola.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm the only one with the hat. Well done. We've got all your Barneys. They're rubbish.
I know, I'm struggling.
I know. Look, Marcus has started to grow a beard as well, which I've never seen before in my life.
What do you reckon?
I've got myself freshly shaven and everything for you guys, so.
I'm going to have a shave tonight, I think. I definitely, Luke's just going for the full beard. Marcus is trying, but...
Hey, you just need to blow on it, mate, and it'll fall off.
So how's things going?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, obviously the situation, a little bit tough,
Yeah.
but apart from that, mate, to be honest, I think it's been like in terms of the virus and that, I've just taken all the pluses out of it, mate. I'm training hard.
Yeah.
And having that little bit more extra time, giving me so much more time to think about things that, like, you're in the rat race all the time. Do you know what I mean? So actually, it's been like, from my personal side, but in general in life, my life way of thinking in that, it's like, put the brakes on, slow down.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you just take that into when it goes back to normal into my life. Where before I was 100 miles an hour, eating shit, tired all the time, put my health kind of like down low on my priorities, thinking about loads of other stuff, doing my music, traveling here. And now wake up every day and I'm like, fucking yes, mate, you know? And it's just adjusting a few things can really make a big difference. Like, especially in my situation, like, if I didn't do that, I think I'd be a lot further down the road than where I am now.
Have you still taken a break from social media?
I took it, yeah. So what I've done is I've deleted my apps and come off of it completely, but then I'll re-download them if I need to do a post. But in the last 2 weeks, I've completely come off of it and kind of like just not really been interested in it. So, I mean, funny enough, I had a chat with my management about it. It's like, how do you go back into social media? And I remember a few times before just sitting there, like really goes inside your brain. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to delete the apps off my phone. And then I only, when I need to post it on, have a quick flick through, check my messages, and then jump back out. So yeah, I've come off social media. I will go back on social media. And as we were saying again, in this time, I've actually zoomed out and thought about what is it that I actually want to say in my social media. Because I'm seeing, like, in the end, I'm using my social media not for my personal life. It's not Ross, it's Rossko.
Yeah.
Which is a version of Ross that I want to show to the people in my world that want to follow my life through music. And then, like, I can't do all that silly, stupid stuff that I see a lot of DJs doing now to interact with their fans. So, you know, I went away and thought to myself, how can I engage more on a music level? So I needed that break to actually reflect on why am I using my social media and what is the message that I want to get across to my fans. Like, I can't do fucking stupid game shows on Instagram. Like, but some people are just that way. Do you know what I mean? And some people need that. So, yeah, the time of reflecting is good.
Definitely.
Yeah. A lot of people have said that, haven't they? A lot of people. We've done a few of these over the past couple of weeks, and a lot of people are saying that. And speaking to friends and family, I think a lot of people are, like you said, seeing the silver linings and using it as an opportunity to take a step back. Like somebody described it before as life is a bit more simple at the moment. Like, and I'm doing social media less. Like, I'm picking up a book instead of my phone, and it's like just sitting outside and watching nothing. Like, just for a while. Like, it is a little bit more simple at the moment.
But then,
it's huge.
To Ross's point though, like it's easy for like a human to like stop social media and just like quit it, but for businesses that rely on it, like yourselves and other businesses, it's really hard to probably switch off from it. So that's where I think there's a real fine line, and probably you're lucky, and other businesses may be lucky that they can like push it onto other people who are around them to keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, I think the most important thing is in my business, I do music and I'm a DJ, but also I'm selling a brand, which is Rossko, the DJ brand. So it's not just the music, but every single person use their social media platforms in different ways to get what they're looking for. So I think the most important thing is like understanding what it is, the message that you want to get and get across to that. And I think what happened in social media, we're the first generation of the kids. Like we're the first generation of the PlayStation gamers and stuff. Like we're making it up as we go along. We don't really know. It's not like we can look back 20 years ago and say, oh yeah, well these people were doing that. We're being entrepreneurs in our own ways of understanding what that is. And I think it's come at the right time because I see a quote on Instagram like, if there was no Facebook or Instagram, there'd be no DJs anymore, and it's true. I started to get focused on my socials, not more than my music, but I knew that it was a very important part. And I think you just get so caught up in it. And I've always been one that I said to myself, I never follow too many DJs. Or music industry people, because you get caught up in their business. And this is why I'm getting onto the point of like, this is when you start searching whatever everyone else is doing. Oh, okay, he's doing this, or let me try to do it this way. And then it becomes overthought. So this little period of time, especially for me, when I come back on social media, I know exactly how to deliver my message. And I think the best word is less is more, and more impactful, because like it was just too intense before.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I actually listened to one of your mates, Seb Zito's live chat yesterday with Rich.
Oh, did you? It was with Rich, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was great from a fan standpoint. But he made a great point of like, from a creative standpoint, if something comes into his head, like, and he feels like he's thought about it, it's obviously something he's heard or seen somewhere else. And I was like, that's so true. And that doesn't necessarily have to be music. Like sometimes, like, if it's premeditated, sometimes it's actually you've heard or seen it somewhere else. And it's a really good point. And so what you said there.
Yeah. Seb is very smart and sharp, and he really gets the world in general, and he sees things for what they really are. And it is, in the end, we say this word influencers, but wherever we go, we're influencers. I don't think there's one road that you don't go down, you don't see a traffic sign telling us don't go here, go left, traffic light, stop here, red, go. So we're being controlled all the time. And are you guys on social media more or not? In general,
I think like for our brand and business,
for your business,
like we use LinkedIn quite a lot, and we've seen that our like reach very much declined because probably maybe people are on furlough or people are taking time out. So we've seen it, but what we're using our time for is probably stuff like this, talking to friends, talking to businesses, and just like trying to generate something creatively that when things come back to normal, we can like implement them further. So we've had conversations with you, Ross, like in our container. This is an test, and then like hopefully something spawns of that we do maybe an event, or who knows.
You're when we took away your conversation, like even that simple thing of the text-based thing, you wouldn't believe this is a great point to say, coming and engaging with that. And I said this today to my management. I said, like, I feel after this coronavirus, it's about collaborations now, and collaborations in the right way, rather than it being like me. So taking from that, when I come away from you, it's funny, your one word of like using the text-based service, I've built a whole idea around, I can use that text for so many little things, which not only is it just good for the business, but zoomed out for my brand products, it's like, I can do smoke and mirrors and be like, hey guys, just found 5 promo copies in my DJ bag. I'm going to be playing in the gig tonight. Come down and grab them. I'm just doing it because I want to sell those 5 copies. But for those kids that get the text on the phone and be like, oh my God, I'm going to go and see Rossko play. That record's sold out. They're 5. Like, so you're just that one little conversation of thing. I've taken that and I've run with that idea to its fullest maximum. So
Do you find some of your audience, like, it's a good point you make there, because one of our clients and friends, Jake Hall, who owns Preview, he says like the amount of engagement he gets when he actually talks to his like fans or like customers, like directly. Your point there, Ross, like, do you think that helps with you? Like, if you do direct message someone that comments on like a post or a song, do you think that is value to them?
Yeah. So again, it goes, that first step is what, like, as a DJ, is like, what type of DJ do you want to be? So there are DJs that are unapproachable, that are high up here, and they want to show a world that maybe normal people want to look at life and be like, oh, wow, you know, and they're normally more older, more successful DJs already. So those kids are born into it. But me, I'm a more, you know, connecting kind of DJ. And it is true, because when I was young, when I wanted my DJs, if I messaged a DJ for a track and he replied to me, winner, you know. So it does work, that engagement. And one thing I've been thinking about is about the music industry and stuff. And it was like, I was saying to my management team, it was like, what connects me is the fans. And what do we love? Music. Now, in our industry, what we've done is we've got this like middleman of websites like Resident Advisor, Trommel, which are like politicians that decide you're good, you're shit, and, you know, and then people like the news listen to them and say, well, he says it's good, so we must go. So in this period, I decided that social media for me is so important to engage directly. So talking about businesses, it's very important to engage with your workers directly, because you're getting this feedback loop rather than it going over there and coming back there. So I will, from this point, I already know when I will be using my social media to engage my fans. Who pays my bills? Fans. They buy tickets, they fill the club, promoters happy, they pay me. So yeah, you made a valid point there. Engagement with your customers is key, I think.
So like for you, Ross, like obviously we've been friends since we've like
too long.
But like I've seen you grow from like, I remember you DJing in my house, my mum and dad's house, and I'll probably say it here that you wasn't very good, like at 15. Obviously now it's like somewhere, but I've seen you grow from that to where you are now, where you're selling out festivals and club nights, and now launching your own record label. So I'm proud to see that. But do you feel that you can do it alone without these like resident advisors? Do you feel like these brands, which you guys are now, do you think you can go alone?
I think after this coronavirus is a shift. There will be a shift. There has to be a shift. And I think it's making people realise that these websites and these things were great tools that were put in place. And we were just programmed to believe that that was the only way. I honestly didn't think there was another way. Like for me, it's like, I believe for the success of my DJ career, I need to get a BBC Radio 1 Essential Mix. And if I don't get that, you don't do it. And then I ask myself, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, and then I ask my friends who got Essential 1 radio mixes, did it actually change your career? And a lot of them say, well, not really. It's just what they put in your mind, what you believe to be true. Yeah. So you're chasing these dreams that are just put there as marketing strategies to do that. So me personally, as my own brand, it's like, I'm just going 100% direct to my clients, my customers, and spending less time hoping to get the email to do a resident advisor mix or that. I mean, yes, in the industry, you get the nod if you do that. So these websites are valuable in terms of how you are perceived in your industry. I guess it's the same for you with your marketing. It's like, if you've got Adidas to market for, you're going to stick that on your website, and people say, oh, well, he's doing Adidas, so there must be a good website. So pros and cons there, basically.
Just a really good point, actually. Go on,
Luke. No, I was just about to say, like, I think you make, like, it was a point you made earlier around sort of the lasting impacts of sort of like COVID-19 and the current situation we're in. Like, if we reround, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years, and we didn't have the technology that you have now available to you. Like, the two ways that you get in front of your fans is through, obviously, in real life, through sort of like club nights, but then obviously now you have the technologies that allow people to carry on listening to your music. Like, do you think there's any? Do you think there'll be any sort of lasting shifts in, I don't know, the way people listen to music or the way that people consume?
I mean, we're going through it now. Like, everything moves in cycles. So before coronavirus, and I'm sure you've heard of Bandcamp. Bandcamp has blown up hugely, not because Bandcamp's a great website. Bandcamp didn't do anything. They didn't change their format. They didn't change their website. It was just that artists needed money, and Bandcamp offer a service that you get your money. The only downfall of Bandcamp is if you don't have a big platform, it's difficult for you to find the thing, unless you're a digger and you want to find your music, i.e. with iTunes, everybody can go to it. So there's the other side. But companies like Bandcamp have taken off from the coronavirus. So I think music industry is always shifting. I got a message the other day from Wiggy. He showed me the mini disc. When we got the mini disc, we thought mini disc was there. Then we got the CD. Then we got the CDJs. Now it all goes back to vinyl. So I think as humans, anyway, we always find solutions in our problems. That's what makes us unique. You know, we always adapting to the things. So, you know, going back 10, 15 years, as you said, it's like, how do people find out about tracks, music, DJ clubs? It's just their mate said, I heard a mate who said this and that. We're just moving that onto the internet, tells us this and that. So I don't think it ever really changes. It's just the medium. And if you don't roll with the times, then you get left behind. So especially in our businesses, I'm sure it applies not just for music, for fashion, art and stuff. So
Well, that's the thing.
Sorry, Luke, go on.
No, I was about to say, you're right, Rossko. It's the difference in like the industries, like marketing. The principles have always been the same. You're trying to communicate to people, right? It started off by doing it in the pub next to your mate, just saying, oh, you should go check out this product, to now being moved online and lots of different channels. So it can be applied to a lot of different places. Yeah,
it's massive. I think, I mean, when I talk to you guys, I've never done any marketing. I've never done anything. It's just all my life experiences and my intuition of working this stuff out. I'm sure there's a code of the best way to reach your audience. But as you just hit the nail on the head there, best marketing is when your mate goes, well, mate, have you tried that? Mate, have you listened to that guy? Well, that is the biggest seller, rather than something shoved in your face like buy. So maybe our marketing way of delivering is going to go full circle. And like you say, I think you were hitting it now on the head. I think when we last time spoke, is this client to business relationship is so important, rather than other mediums telling you to do that, especially for the smaller brands. I mean, everyone's going to go and buy Dove, you know, what do you call it, deodorant, because it's Dove. It's got nice brand. It's good marketing. But I think now the smaller I think there's a very good opportunity for other smaller companies to rise up out of this if they're sharp.
It's definitely, I think the internet, like to your point, Ross, like it's given a platform for like businesses, smaller businesses, larger businesses, to reach that person that then will go and tell a friend. But it's never been more important, especially in a time like this. People aren't buying tickets to raves, people aren't buying tickets to festivals. But what you can do now is like really build that brand awareness. So like sending your last mix, or sending this, or doing live chats. And I think what I've seen, and you're probably best to comment, Ross, is like, instead of just sitting and feeling sorry for themselves, DJs, they're using the platforms available to like live stream. Or I watched the Martinez brothers, I think they were in Miami, like streaming from their rooftop apartment, and it just looked sick. And the next time I see them, that's gonna remind me.
It's again, that's it. Is they're just those people. Those guys are sharp, man. It's like you've got all these tools in front of you, and it's how you engage with them. And you know more than me, marketing is how it's presented. Now we can talk about this. Is like, now we ain't got no raising clubs. Everyone is all your bedroom DJs can now become famous because they're in their bedroom and showing off, and no one's going to say nothing. You would never ever get your mate down the road doing a live mix on Facebook before coronavirus, and people that would have taken the piss out of him. And now he's a local hero. He's like, yes, mate, wicked tunes. So again, it's this shift in consciousness or understanding that it's all right. It's good to do that. And then you get, well, just like anything, becomes a bubble. Now I can't go in. If I go in my feed, I've got 400 live streams, and 350 of them are badly streamed. It's the people like Martinez brothers who are sharp, who say, right, I'm going to get a 4K camera, I'm going to get a nice backdrop, I'm going to get my big shoes, with my big chain, and building this perception to fans that be like, I want to be on that rooftop. That's where I want to be. So there is that, it works both ways, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely cutting through the noise. I think we've said that ourselves. Like, we do a lot of these Zoom chats, and
I follow you guys all the time.
We love them.
Silent follower.
But, I think certain people might get bored of that. And to your point, Ross, like, it's great for DJs to be using the live stream, but actually, you need to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you going to be
it's difficult because especially in my background, music is, what can you do? Play records or talk about music, And this is what I'm saying. I've seen other DJs. It's not for me, but I get it. They're getting their. What would you love to do? I'll tell you a thing. I watched this little Zoom session like this, and it was like 6 or 7 big DJs that I follow and look up, and they were just mates having a chat, talking about tunes. This time, this DJ, who's your favourite one? And that got me more than me watching a live stream or like, I engaged with that so much because I hanged off every word that they were saying, because before coronavirus, you never ever would have got Chris Liebing, a big techno DJ, and Dubfire, who's in America, sitting down with their mates, having a cup of tea like we're doing, and just talking. So that also has been the blessing out of that. And I'm sure they did that for marketing, because it was their whole record label, the whole, I think it's Drum Code. So they had all their Drum Code artists. And if you're a Drum Code fan, doing that is probably better than a bedroom DJ set coming from home, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. It's similar to listening to Seb and Rich talking yesterday. Like, for me, like, Fuse is a big part of my, like, rave. And like, listening to them, like, even just talking about, like, the sub in the like the small room at 93, like, I just remember it. Like, I used to just for it and just text it, and I'd never heard them sort of stories. So to your point, like, I think, like, brands or DJs, like, taking the time to talk about themselves and their business is just so useful. And I think, like, how important it is as well is for them then to take that data, like, and I don't think you can obviously do it on Instagram Live, but if you set up something that can then click through to you capture, like, my email address or my phone number for me to find out more, then that is really useful as well for them to use.
Text me to find out more. Sorry, Luke. Go on, mate. I just cut you there, mate.
No, that's what I was just going to say. I think the whole situation is sort of everyone's vulnerable right now, aren't they? Like, there's this horrible thing going on, and whilst everyone in their individual bubbles are keeping as safe as they can, like, we are all vulnerable, right? Whereas I think from a business perspective, that's brought out, like we were talking about this the other day, it's brought out, like, the human side. So the fact that you can sit down and you can get 6 or 7 DJs sat just doing a Zoom, having, like you said, having a chit chat. Like, people have opened themselves up, which is amazing. But from like the consumer side of it, that's amazing. Like, I watched a very similar one from a boxing perspective, and there was 10 of the world's top promoters, like Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, all of those guys all got together. And you're right, similar to the DJ example, they never would have sat. If they were in a big conference together, it would have been all sort of configured and a bit false. Whereas Eddie Hearn was in his pajamas, Bob Arum was sitting there sort of having a big coffee, like, and it opens brands up, and I think that's the key. That's the key to marketing right now. However you do it, and there's so many different ways you can do it. I think the key is just being open, and I think consumers and people, they love that because they're seeing different sides to brands.
I think that before coronavirus, if you would have said, get those 10 people on Zoom and do a chat, they'd be like, fuck off, mate, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
What do you want it for? But these guys are sharp to know that they got the time, but two, by just being themselves is already selling a different side to them that people buy into. And like, I'll give you, I've been sitting here, I hardly ever watch TV. I got on the old Amazon Prime, and I watched the documentary on Leeds United. I don't know if you've seen it.
Really good.
Really
I started
good.
watching it.
I'm a Leeds fan now. I'm in. I bought into the philosophy, the culture, the fans. Like, I've got good mates up in Leeds. Next time Spurs is playing, I want to go up there and get them. So yeah. Coming from a point of from this virus, like I lost my granddad to it like a couple of weeks ago, and so it's all the badness. But as human beings, getting on a deeper level, it's like we always figure out shit to take advantage. The word is advantage, or finding the solutions to come out of that. And I think that's where businesses will sink or swim, is being innovative in staying ahead, because otherwise you're like, this is the conversation that I had to my management, was like, I've come off social media now part of me doesn't want to go back on social media because I can't be fucked, and then the other part of me is like, oh, if I don't go on there, then maybe I'm going to lose my fans and they're never going to book me again. And then I'm going to get into coming on to like mental health. Is like, well, then do I start speaking about stuff and pretend everything's all right? So then I start to get into my mind of like, do I actually need this? What does it represent? And then, so there's some big questions that we have to realize what social media is to our everyday lives and to business. I think it's probably the most, like, I hit the nail on the head. My friend said, Ross, 3.9 billion phones in the world. And they are in our hands every single day. So, yeah, big questions. And when you ask yourself big questions, you get big answers. So, yeah.
No, it's very true. And I think, like you said, Ross, it's probably hard. It's a fine line with switching off. And when we work with more and more people like yourself, like, we see how hard it is for them, because they are the brand, like you are the front man.
Yeah.
Like, we see how hard it is probably to switch off and like have a normal life, or use social media for like normal things. I remember you used to have 2 Facebooks, I think.
Yeah.
Your Ross one, and then your like secret.
Yeah, I still got it. Yeah, and that's true. I don't hardly use my. I won't say the name, but it's a funny name. But it's this is another funny thing. People find that name, and then they find me, and they think that's my name. So when they see me, they're like, "Hey man," and I'm like, and then when I tell them like, it's just a fake name, mate, they're like, "You're not really? What's your real name?" I'm like, Ross. They're like, "Oh." So again, this is how mad social media is creating perceptions and realities. I just wrote that name to hide away so people couldn't find me, but those people have run away with this name and created this whole, yeah, man, I thought you was from Spain, you had Spanish parents, and you were half Italian, half Spanish. I'm just Essex geezer from Ross, So, yeah, switching off from music and real life. Before I didn't switch off, guys, I'll be honest with you. I was 100% work mode. Asked my girlfriend. She said, Ross, you're going to die soon, man. Like, you're going to have you're just always workaholic. And I tell you now, balance and letting things, it sounds so cheesy and cliche. It's like, I was always chasing. And now I'm like, chill, man. Like, and finding that good balance has really shifted me into much better headspace. I've got more work done in the last 6 weeks than probably the last 6 months, where I've been traveling so much, got to do this, like spinning plates. I was like a speedboat guy, it's like spinning around like that. And me, it was my normal. I believe that was the only way to go. So, from the positives from this, coronavirus has made me see things for what it really is, which is very powerful.
Yeah, no, and I think that's some great advice, and I think a lot of people are probably on the same as that, Ross. And I think it's great for you to say that, because for us as well, you need to take stock sometimes.
Massive.
Always running at 100 miles an hour. I'm conscious of the Zoom time, so we'll wrap up now. But thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, sorry you couldn't get a word in, guys. I just ate up all your minutes. All right. I just see you're against the wall like that. Ah! I've got a lot to say.
No, it's good, mate. It's really good to just hear you chat, and like for us, like we love what we do because we get an insight into loads of different industries.
Yeah.
And this again is another area where it's fascinating to get a hone in.
I'm always watching your stuff as well. I think it's so great. Like, once we get this up and going, I'm going to share this on my thing because I think people need to listen and see and know these things. And I have been secretly watching I think I sent you a few messages, like stuff you have said, I've taken on board because a lot of the things that you do, especially marketing, it's like, it's kind of like universal laws. So what you say here can apply for any business, if that makes sense. So maybe like just from my side, I think from social media, even if you're not getting responses from people and you might whatever, it's like just keep doing it and it will tick over and people will. If I didn't tell you, you don't probably realize how many people are watching you. So consistency is the key here. Is keep on plugging away, and then at some point it just ticks over. And if you can get your big clients on board, i.e. Proof and me, you know, this is again, you're smart. You're accessing platforms that you can't access, and you're getting that because you're providing a service. So they share it on their website, they share it on mine. Goes out to 25,000 people on my platform. Goes out to, I think they got like 100,000, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got a few. But no, it's to your point, Ross. It's,
do you know what I mean? It's smart.
No, 100%. There's a lot to be said for that, and I think like, sorry, this is my.
And that's what we're speaking about earlier about collaboration. I'm doing this because I give to you, you give back to me, and then you put them on your platforms, and then it's like a tree, you know, it goes from there to there to there to there to there. So I'm really happy to do this and have a chat because it's good. I'll do more of them, mate.
I think
do a weekly show.
I think it helps for your fans and like your like people that follow you that there is a side to DJing and producing and record labels that isn't just raving. It isn't just like partying. There's like a proper business behind it, and there's serious money to be made too. Like that's to your point earlier. Like the stuff that we preach, you can put it in the music industry, put it in retail, put it in business like a B2B. So yeah.
Knowledge is power, man, and that's what people pay for, is the knowledge. Do you know what I mean? And you guys have the knowledge. Like, again, using the text message thing, I never would have thought that. And that comes from your research and doing that and taking that away and me running with my own ideas. You could say that to another guy and he'd go straight over his head. So it is about that sharing knowledge. I think it's really, I'm very happy to do this.
Then maybe we'll get back on radio one day.
Oh, mate, I already told you for the album, you're going to come spit some bars. I'll send you I'll send you over the final one. Dewey's on it. We'll do it, mate. We're definitely 100% we're going to do it.
Get my brother Marcus as well. He wrote, I don't know if you ever heard it, Marcus did an album as well.
Marcus, right, mate, dust them off, man. You're in.
It was an EP, I think, if I remember. It was an EP, not an album.
But it up now. All right, go on then. Cool.
No, we'll definitely do something.
Cool. I'll leave you be. I'll leave you to crack on.
Yeah,
now.
Thanks.
Nice one, Ross.
Big guys, just send me the stuff over when it's done, and I'll get it up, mate.
We'll do, buddy. You take care.